Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. How's everybody doing today? This is Attorney Antonio Moore coming to you from Tone Talks. Looking forward to having a discussion about these old black celebrities that people keep trotting out, selling alcohol and gambling and Uber. And we keep thinking of them as musicians when they just product hawks. To me, they sell cheap product to poor blacks and mask it in aspiration. Can I get to it? They selling classic music that should be at the eBay, the Apollo, and they selling it to y'all under the auspices of aspiration. Can I talk? So, they sell you the $300 ticket on Ticketmaster, and then you look over on Groupon, they got the ticket for $65 with 20% off on the floor. Oh, God, sit show. Let's talk about it. Yes, you can. We got people all across the. Stop it, you dig? We got people all across the country that have this. But I want to talk to you because I don't know if you understand the arc of America and American wealth, regardless of race. The one that Diddy used to get in your hearts and minds. So before the 80s, white wealth had not taken off. White people had about $2 trillion. They took off under Reagan. As they took off, they didn't know what to do with their money, and they wanted to emulate access, privilege, and advantage. So they started showing them the lifestyles of the rich and famous and how the homes were and how the rich people lived on TV. Diddy, 15 years later, brought that to the black household. He starts showing you the money, and Jay-Z got in on it. They show you the money. Money, Diddy. These older black celebrities have masked themselves in your need to be aspirational and the fact that you don't understand that you've been locked out of America, as have most ADOS. Almost all, I would in fact say, that are working age. We got people all across the country about to have this discussion. I don't have to guess. I only do real. Old black celebrity is selling us on 25-year-old nostalgic music, gambling, liquor, and low-level reality television. That's what they selling us on. What is Dylan? Making of the Band, Real Housewives. We gonna get to MTV Cribs, LaKenya. We gonna get to MTV Cribs. Americans today with little economic promise use celebrities as a psychological safe haven. And no group does that more than ADOS, American descendants of slavery. They put you in a position where you remember the 90s when they didn't give you the wealth data. You think you love their music, but you love the way it puts you back in time before you couldn't pay your rent. When rent was only $300, not $3,000. Both for their personal idea of themselves and to pull back to memories they lived off of, the memories of potential, and to mask the massive normal economic failure with quirky, reasonless aberrations. So how many times they gonna show us LeBron James' kid? That's good for you, LeBron James, that you got a kid. How much y'all pouring in to get these stories everywhere? How many times we gonna hear about Obama's kids? What about Shaquanda kids? What about Jerome babies? Oh, we don't want to hear about them because we're going to have to hear about that wealth inequality. But I come back to this lifestyles of the rich and famous, and I tell you today that all Diddy did was mimic this old white man. All he did was show you a bunch of Louis Vuitton, a bunch of money, and a bunch of aspiration. The difference is the government didn't undergird the potential of black folks. Let's get to it. Please call in, subscribe, share the video. 310-388-3499 is the call in. I did a show last week or so, and I showed you these men. And these men, look at them. If they don't dye their beards, this is like back during COVID when they wasn't dyeing their face and they couldn't get to the salon. They looking like they're about 77 years old. And the Twitter blue check in the last show, this connects to the last show. What the Twitter blue check did is it elevated black celebrity speech, so it kept people who usually would fade off in a preeminent position because the blue check got more circulation. It got an elevated speech, and it devastated your politics. It made it so if I do ADOS, they just gonna suppress me. So it don't matter that I'm actually educated, highly educated, and these men are not. It don't matter that I can actually get to that promised land called reparations, and these men cannot. The Twitter blue check elevated black celebrity speech and kept them relevant. Go watch that show. It kept this as relevant. How is this different than this? In the chat, tell me, please, or call in 310-388-3499. Tell me what the difference is. They just two older men doing some old stuff. I need to talk. How? Wasting your time? Tell me if there's a difference between these two men. They both look old. They got the same little hairstyle. Come on. At what point you gonna stop holding on to your 90s? And I say this to you because we need to build out and build up. And you can't build out and build up if you allowing this to be your idea of popular culture or celebrity. This is 26 years old, man. These people were famous in 98, 2002. It really don't make no sense. I'm going to get into the products that they sell now. They don't sell the music no more. They sell in Uber. They sell in liquor. They sell in gambling. I need you to get to it. Somebody said it's not different. What she's saying is, I just want to know, what's the difference between this and this? We know this is old and this is like kind of corny and this is, but somehow this is cool. If you don't get this retirement age man out of here, look at this. What's the difference? I need you to start getting honest that these people are old. And ain't nothing wrong with getting old, but they're not getting old the right way in my view. But as I talk about that, I got to talk about what they're selling. I want to talk about what they sell. Jay-Z and Diddy made millions by owning liquor companies. Diddy launches signature flavor vodka, Ciroq Passion. Sean Diddy Combs unveils Ciroq Passion. And then you tell me that they good business people, but they don't know where the liquor bottles is at. Jay-Z, we got a cognac crisis, TMZ reported. Suze Bacardi. In the docs, Jay-Z's company says, the one that y'all said to me was $1 billion and he a mogul, says it needs all the books and records. The location of all the warehouses storing the Douce barrels. I don't know where the bottles is at. So the man that don't know where the bottles is at is the mogul, the one that dropped out of high school and sold dope, and now he a billionaire. He the one that y'all telling me done made it. He done made good. Now, in addition, he's selling alcohol to you and your babies. He's selling alcohol to your pops. He's selling this, what I deem as a poison to your community. Somebody said they cosplaying the businessman. I said it and I meant it. These are retirement age people. Look, do that look like a man that can hop up and move good? Come on, man. There ain't no difference. Smokey moving better than him. Nobody has framed this for you guys, that these people are nearing 60 years old, mid 50s, late 50s, same age as my parents. If my mama was alive, she'd be like 59, same age as these, like around the same age. And they still walking around here like they the king and queen of pop culture. But let's get back to what they're selling. They're selling the liquor. They're selling the liquor, and the black youth exposed to more alcohol advertising, study finds. African-American youth culture is steeped in alcohol, References to booze have long been rife in rap music, and Jay-Z, Sean P. Diddy Combs, and Ludacris are among the hip-hop luminaries who have promoted alcohol. Again, Diddy don't own Ciroq. Diageo does. That European family that he's selling that for? A new study puts some fresh data behind long-standing concerns about alcohol marketing to young black kids. Marketing to black kids, I'm sorry. Let me say it again. A new study puts some fresh data behind long-standing concerns about alcohol marketing to black kids. Young African Americans ages 12 to 20 see far more alcohol ads on television and in magazines than youth in general, according to the report published Thursday by the Center on Alcohol Marketing and Youth at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Researchers said two key factors are at play. Many alcohol ads specifically target African Americans and African American youth, consume more media than youth overall. For example, African American youth watched 53% more television than youth in general. In 2010, according to Nielsen data cited in a study, and then they got Diddy and Jay-Z got the spirit empires. Y'all running around talking about they business people. And they talking about them selling the alcohol to your kids. And you don't know it's negative, selling it to you. Can we talk? Can I get to it? Jay-Z don't know where the bottles is at, bro. It's worse. He says it needs all the books and records and the location of all the warehouses storing the barrels and bottles. That ain't no CEO to me. And alcohol consumption is linked to three leading causes of death among young African Americans: homicide, suicide, and accidental injury. There's rationale for being extra careful, said Jernigan, whose group receives funds from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, has put out dozens of reports on alcohol marketing to youth over the last decade. Coleman said the Center on Alcohol Marketing and Youth research on the topic is flawed. Has repeatedly issued press releases saying the industry's advertising increasingly targeting youth. He said even as statistics show that underage drinking has declined, he pointed to a recent federal government survey showing that teenage drinking fell to a historic low. So they're trying to get them back up to that high. Liquor industry courts blacks back in 1987. Ad campaigns aimed at community draw fire of critics. The black consumer has provided something of a silver lining to the clouds that have gathered over the liquor industry in the 80s. Over the last decade, annual liquor sales, they talking about the 80s, have dropped 8.5% to 55%. You know how you can get that back up? This, and you tie it to aspiration. Can we talk? This. You get these aged, these geriatric, these old black celebrities where you done watch them on 106 in Park for decades, and you make them sell this through aspiration and arrival, through business, black entrepreneurship. Look at this. Let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. Listen to this. Oh, I can't even find it. Talk about it. Look. And I think for a lot of people, this is difficult to understand. You had this guy who did not graduate from high school, pushing this I can believe in. And we'll talk about the consequence in a second. You had Mary J up here and Diddy and Obama, but then you forgot Diddy is not sure if he'll vote for Donald Trump. The subject recently came up, this is back in 2016, while Puff was at an appearance at Macy's 34th Street flagship store in New York City to promote his new John John Cologne. This is an older picture of him with Trump, but then he was with the Obama shirt on the 2008 and 2016. He's doing whatever he got to do for politics. The bad boy owner didn't shy away from his affection for the billionaire presidential hopeful, referring to him as a friend of mine. You know, myself as a co-founder of the American Descendants of Slavery movement, I'm far left, I'm progressive. I've dealt with more accusations of being right-wing than this man ever has to. And he's sitting here with Trump talking about he might vote for him. Next time that somebody says something about me in a tweet, please share this and let them ask them why they're not asking whether he a right-winger. He also said he always liked Donald's style. We're looking at this thing and we're looking at a flip-flop, and now we vote or die back in 08, 07 with Barack. painting Barack with all the ADOSness, with no idea of how to manage the politics he owes you and ADOS people for holding this microphone. But you a billionaire. All right. Listen to me. Follow me. Everybody in the chat, y'all following me? I want you to read this. I'm going to leave it on screen as I read it. This image shows you two things. Presidential inauguration of Barack Obama, January 09. Uber technology founded March 09, 2 months later. Month and a half later. Maybe you think that's coincidence. I do not. Uber does not exist unless Obama and Tom Perez, who was his labor secretary, allowed it. It is a gutting of labor rights that happened under Barack Obama. It is you voting for your kids not to have unions, not to have protections for their rights. It is crazy how people who have children that are economically collapsed driving Uber after college or doing gig jobs don't draw a line directly back to Barack Obama. Uber is literally founded 2 months after he is sworn into office. Someone knew he and his labor department would allow an attack on labor rights like we hadn't seen in 50 years through gig job misclassification as contract work. Again, what am I saying for those people that might be a bit confused? And I'm not trying to talk down to you. Uber is basically an employer that doesn't want to do the responsibilities of employment, meaning medical coverage, meaning days off, meaning give you a car or help you pay for your car. So they make you a contract worker. Well, they don't give you the freedom of a contract worker, though. So the app controls you like an employer. They take advantage of your desperation. But Barack Obama allowed for it to happen and be created under his presidency. So that's your vote. Next time you see your baby leave at 2 a.m., you voted for that when you voted for Barack. Maybe they can't see it. And when I say leave at 2 a.m., leave at 2 a.m. to pick up a stranger that will sit behind them as they drive them to Disneyland from downtown Los Angeles and here almost 30 miles for $3, for $7. Can I get to it? Can I tie it all together, everybody in the chat? Can I make it make sense? Or they can't grasp race versus lineage, or as long as it's not them driving Uber at 1 a.m. by a bar, they don't know and they have a pension. It's fine, question mark. In the end, the truth is it has left us with the under 40-year-old generation with gig jobs, no health care, and that simply don't grasp risk. What do I mean? Is it worth it to leave your babies and go drive Uber and liquidate your car? Watch a prior video to understand that point. All you're doing is liquidating your car so you can get them Christmas gifts. Ain't your safety a little better? How about no Christmas gifts and you stay home? Because all they know is risk. Because their adulthood, their childhood was under Barack Obama. They don't even understand labor rights. I want to get to it. But how would they understand labor rights if they listen to these people? These people are low-educated people. Not well-educated people. Let me go back. Me and Yvette Carnell are both we have college degrees. One from Howard and Yvette Carnell. She worked on the Hill under Democrats in political science. I have a college degree from one of the top institutions in the world, UCLA. So I think one of the top 10 in the world, number 8, I believe, in political science. And you want to tell me that you believe this man is like a mogul and that we should listen to him? Man, y'all get them. You don't get on. Your heroes ain't no heroes. Again, March 09, January 09, you believe what you want. Dates are right there. She was pregnant and broke. She signed up for Uber and fell into debt. The pregnant Uber driver has no paid maternity leave. In the US, she's not alone. The gig economy is white people discovering servants. Go read your article. Barack Obama's greatest legacy. That's my addition. Then you have Diddy during the Super Bowl pushing Uber. You have Jay-Z as one of the initial investors in Uber, painting it with what? ADOSness, blackness. Diddy recruits Montel Jordan, Khalees, and more to make a hit song for Uber One in the new Super Bowl ad. What about this girl? She was pregnant and broke. She signed up for Uber. I need you to understand there's only so much liquor in Uber you're going to let this man sell. There's only so much gambling and liquor you're going to let Jay-Z sell and rent to own homes. Nobody in America is saying this. Nobody. Y'all might not understand me till I'm long gone. But your babies is here. They don't know up from down because you sitting up here and don't understand that Uber coming through Diddy is trash. I want to talk about it today. Diddy recruits Montel Jordan, Khalees, and more to make a hit song for Uber One in a new Super Bowl ad. Sean Diddy Combs is tasked with making a hit song for Uber One, so they're going to tie it all together. All that old, nostalgic 25-year-old music, they're going to tie that together with that Uber and get you right out there with no maternity leave while you're pregnant. But then they're going to stand with Trump, and they're going to stand with Obama. So we just all over, and they're going to sell the liquor. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Courtney. I'm calling from New Jersey.
All right, so give me your take on it.
Tone, I just got to take a deep breath whenever you talk and give the facts, because I used to drive Uber back 2017, and there was a day where my transmission went. I had some issues with my car, got a ticket. All the money I made that week went to fixing those issues I had in one day because of Uber wear and tear on my car. And it really, really just makes me take a deep breath when I hear the information that you are giving to the people, right? And you're trying to help the people, but you're not being pushed by the algorithm, whatever you want to call it, the blue check on Twitter. But these people that's selling the nonsense to us, that makes people go drive Uber, take out these loans they can't pay, and put themselves in horrible situations, they're getting pushed. And they're being influenced by people that's giving us the wrong information. And since I found your channel, and I've been listening to everything that you've been saying, all your facts, I understand that you are literally generations, maybe 4 generations beyond where we are today. It's going to take generations for Black people to catch up and really understand what you're saying today.
Can I ask you a question?
You should be pushed.
Can I ask you a question?
So
how does it make you feel as somebody who drove for Uber and basically, to me, got exploited? Because you were liquidating your car, and that's really what happened. And now you got Diddy doing an Uber commercial for Uber Eats during the Super Bowl. And just like this young woman who didn't have maternity leave, all that gets left out. How do you feel about Diddy selling this? He already sell the liquor, and he gonna sell all kind of other stuff. But what's your thoughts?
I just feel like, back in the day, Diddy was able to do what he did because of the time and him being connected to the streets to a degree because he was coming up. But now, 25, 30 years later, you've been up so long, you don't know what's going on in the streets. You really don't know what's going on. And I feel like people to listen to what these people who have been on top for 30 years have to say to us, because we are the people that's down here now. And his opinion does not represent what's really going on. When I drove Uber, I'm telling the truth, I don't even think I broke even in terms of purchasing a car, driving all these strangers. This was before COVID, but imagine COVID. You catching COVID, you might die because you're driving Uber to make $1 to pay a car. It just never made sense. Uber from day one never made sense.
So this
literally,
and I didn't mean to cut you off. My apologies. Yeah. So for everybody that's just coming in, this is a show about old Black celebrities, 25 years removed from their most famous moment, that's still around. Do we understand that? Let me take you back. Listen to this last thing, caller. I'm gonna take you back because I'm gonna ask you too. I don't see no difference between this and this. It's on screen. Smokey and Jay-Z and Smokey and Diddy. But what's weird is, like, if you go back to like 99, I'm gonna use another example later. You couldn't put this on TV. Like this was old in 99. Those people say it's my moment. I don't want to see this man in this soft velour outfit. I don't want to see him with these ribbons and stuff. They said it's my moment, but it's almost like people that had, it's like the boomers have the wealth, the pensions and everything, but Gen X wants the popular culture. So they're gonna dress their kids in an Aaliyah shirt. That baby was born after Aaliyah died. God damn. That baby was born after Aaliyah died. Why does he have his shirt on at 9 years old? Why? What are you thinking? Did you wear? Have you ever worn a Gladys Knight shirt to school when you was young? Caller. I need everybody to understand that what you're doing here is you don't have no wealth, so you want to hold on to popular culture. You don't want to get old, so you out here just like these people, dyeing your face hairs black. But you ain't on TV, so you following popular culture, low educated, oftentimes high school educated, high school dropouts, possibly people for your idea of what it is to be a mature adult. Can I get to it today?
And Tone, I want to say this, Tone. That this is a true fact that I really believe deep down in my heart. When the black community look back, 4 generations, 5 generations, 6 generations, when they look back, they're gonna see you and Yvette Cornell. You guys are the pioneers to the black consciousness that should be promoted. You guys are generations beyond yourselves, and I appreciate the good work that you're doing, Tone, because you open my eyes so much. It's so much more clear to me. And when I see these little masquerades, Jay-Z, these old people that have no touch with the real life that's going on with people that support them, I could see very clearly all the masquerades because of your show. So I appreciate you, brother.
Man, I appreciate you calling in. That was a great call. 310-388-3499. If you want to be heard, we're having this discussion because you got Diddy saying he's not sure back in 16 he's gonna vote for Trump. XXL article, older picture before 2016 of him with Trump that people share around, and it's like he's a friend of mine. Then you got him with 07 with Obama with the voter die and MTV. I'm gonna do anything. I'll sell this Uber. Hey Diddy, what about the woman who had maternity? She better get it how she live. You gonna sell this Uber? Okay. Then you got the new thing, and I told you guys this was going to happen with Kevin Hart and Jamie Foxx selling this gambling, this sports books. One word to describe DK sports books during the tourney: spicy, because they are spicing up the game by giving new customers $150 in bonus bets. So they give you $150, and then you win $50 off the $150. Then you lose $700 trying to bet. And they knew all in that math. They knew that you was going to lose. Kevin Hart selling it. Look at him. Died all this. We know he died it because of this. He died that for the commercial. How we know? Because it grow in like this. Hair don't change. It ain't going to come back black after coming in like that. He got look young to be able to do it. Look, he got the Biggie shirt on from 1998, 97. Do anything to trigger that memory, that hypnosis, that aspirational hypnosis. Look, he died that. And this probably. Selling this gambling. And I told y'all, when did I tell y'all? I told y'all, come on, let's get to it. When the Supreme Court ruling came down. Supreme Court ruling favors sports betting. In 2018, I said they're going to set up gambling shops in your community. It's coming. They got to work through the laws in the city and in the county. But once they get it all done, it's going to be the nail shop, the Albertsons, the Big Lots, and the gambling center. You going to complain about your baby gambling, but you didn't do no politics to block the gambling center. Look at this. Look at this. Jay-Z applies for New York license to create Fanatic sports betting platform. How many of y'all knew this happened? How many of y'all saw this article? Say it in the chat. 310-388-3499. Maybe you heard about this. Just days after Jay-Z and Roc Nation took part in a $325 million investment in the Fanatic Sports e-commerce platform, the rapper, come on, along with Fanatics owner and Philadelphia, come on, 76 co-owner Michael Rubin have applied for a New York gaming license to form Fanatic Sportsbook. The news was first reported. So he the first to invest in Uber, where you drive late at night and liquidate your car. He got the alcohol, Douce and all that. Now he's trying to sell that because he don't know where the bottles is at. Then he gonna be the first to invest in the gambling centers. Then he want to invest in the rent to own. When y'all gonna realize what this is? Fanatics, which was recently valued at $18 billion, holds partnerships with the most major sports leagues in the U.S. as well as multiple apparel companies. What do you think they need this man for? If they worth $18 billion and they got cash, what do they need him for? To sell it to you. You don't see it? They out here selling this gambling. I need you to see it. I'm telling you. I'm trying to have a discussion. This kind of stuff does not happen without planning. Now, I'm not making no accusation that I know how they had the meetings and everything, but there was meetings had. Definitely. This don't happen. This right here, this March 09, a month and a half, less than that, after he's inaugurated and the Uber comes about, and we never had a service like Uber before that. We never had like hitchhiking through an app because it's against labor laws. But then it happens a month later. It don't happen on accident. Now, I don't know what the meetings were and when they were, but I'm telling you this. You voted for Uber when you voted for Barack. So if your kid has to do that, you played into that. You didn't do the right politics. That's just my view. Top Nixon advisor reveals the racist reason he started the war on drugs decades ago. For a long time, people said, this didn't happen on accident. I did a documentary called Freeway Cracking the System with several other producers. I was nominated for an Emmy with several other producers, and we got the Nicaraguans for the first time ever. That's how we got nominated. The Nicaraguans had never been on camera. They said John Kerry tried to find us, Maxine Waters tried to find us. You found us. Understand that they were using the dope money to fund the Contras to keep the Russians, or the communists, I should say, out of our space in our hemisphere. You want to know what this was really all about? Elkerman says. So Elkerman is supposedly working with the Nixon campaign. The Nixon campaign in 1968, this is a quote, and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and the black people. And black people, you understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and the blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. You don't think that happened with crack? You don't think this gambling, alcohol, come on, and Uber isn't using a model of this that reverses that and glazes it with a bunch of low-educated hip-hop people? Oh, you just think this is incidental. I need you to talk about it. They put this man, this dropout that sold dope, and they put him behind a table and told us, leader of the rap world, and President Carter's cabinet, because Obama had got elected, and it made you feel aspirational. I need you to see it. I need to talk about it because from bad boy to blingionaire, Daily Mail did this. He's a former drug dealer who shot his own brother. They left out the high school dropout part because we got enough. But now he's rap's richest, canniest, and flashiest businessman. Tom Leonard details the life and high rolling times of Jay-Z. The world's richest people aren't just getting richer. Understand this before I read the article. You guys have an inverted relationship with the wealthy. You guys idolize people that you should not like at all. Now, I ain't gonna say you should demonize them because it rhymes, but you should be really livid with them. Your life is too poor and they're trying to sell you too much garbage. There's no way you should be going to this man's concert as he sells you liquor, rent-to-own, and gambling. You don't know that? Your mama didn't teach you that? Your daddy didn't teach you that? Your community didn't teach you that? Your pastor didn't teach you that? Let me say that again. There's no way you should be at his concert while he sells you liquor, gambling, and rent to own. You're not going to get rich being at his concert and reading his book about how he used to lay down in the projects and think about stuff in the stars and some aspirational nonsense. The world's richest people aren't just getting richer, they're also ever more surprising. White people know. It's like black people don't even know. This some weird stuff. And it don't happen accidentally. Yesterday, Forbes published its annual rich list and announced that there's a new category, the billionaire rapper. They made a whole category that don't make no sense. Jay-Z, 49-year-old husband of pop star. They shouldn't even call it the rapper. They should sell liquor slash gambling salesman. Now, those people bring up the Kennedys or some old nonsense. Kennedy was educated. Y'all will bring up some nonsense. Kennedys didn't target their own people. Kennedys weren't like Diddy and look, he don't even own it. Diageo own it. Jay-Z, 49-year-old husband of pop star Beyonce, grew up in a grim, violence-ravaged housing project in Brooklyn. Sean Carter, to give his real name, shot his brother when he was 12. Was dealing crack cocaine by 13. He seemed destined for a life of crime in prison. Instead, he is now feted by U.S. presidents and business moguls. His commercial empire spans not only music, but champagne and cognac and a large stake in the taxi service Uber. Oh my God. Now he's trying to do rent to own and gambling too. But arguably his biggest success is convincing his army of fans and the businesses that shower him with money for the chance to use his name that he still got street cred. I need you to see it. I told y'all. And what they do now, thank you so much, my Long Island. Shout out. Is they mask our lack of access, our being locked out, our ADOSness, our blackness in America with this hustle. And the babies is following it. Sean Diddy Combs and the makers of Ciroq, ultra premium vodka, embody the spirit of hustle with let's get it. So we're going to mix the liquor with the hustle during mass wealth inequality. We'll get to the numbers in a second. These people don't know nothing. They don't know what they're talking about. Y'all remember, I'm telling you, I bring it up because it's relevant. He put me on the Instagram. I was going to be on the stage because I was about to get at work. It's probably better he pulled me off the stage talking about Diddy. Coming on that revolt, I was about to tell that work, like, we don't really need you to exist. We don't need you to exist. You, down there, you. Diddy, we don't need you. We don't need you and him. We need more plumbers. We need electricians. How about move to the side? Bring the electricians up. Today, Sean Diddy Combs and the makers of the Ciroq Ultra Premium Vodka unveil new brand, creative, and launch a motivational campaign. Let's get it. So they're going to sell you the liquor so you out of it and you can't, and you alcoholic, and then they're going to tell you that you ain't successful because you ain't part of Let's Get It. Please support the channel. ToneTalks.net to support. The campaign is a collaboration between Combs, Ciroq, and emerging influencers combining to inspire the generation to get it. And what you get as a result is this. You get a whole generation that you can't raise because they don't understand. They are locked out of wealth. They are ADOS in an America that doesn't want to recognize ADOS. While he's doing that and playing games, which is games. He's playing games. Ciroq is playing games. You got Yvette in the ADOS org. You got ADOS pushing to categorize and disaggregate the data so we can see that ADOS people are collapsed. Meaning the people that descend from slavery, not the black people, not the brown people, not the people that descend from slavery in America are collapsed economically. Famous YouTuber DDG said he only had $700 to his name and went to the mall and spent $600 on some Balenciagas. That motivated me to go earn the $600 back. He kept grinding and got rich. Rich. I don't know what that means, but it comes out of this culture. Let's get it. You got the geriatric, near retirement age, 55 to 65-year-old black men selling a generation of youth that are locked out in the middle of an era where cars are $1,000 and pay, they say 1 in 5 people pay $1,000 a month for their car because it's that expensive. The average new car is like 50,000. But you got Diddy while he sells liquor and Uber commercials talking about it's bigger than being billionaires. It's about owning our culture and leading a revolution. You can't lead a revolution while selling liquor. You cannot. And don't bring me up no wildness about no Europeans that did some. No, I'm talking about this stuff you doing. You cannot sell Uber that exploits this woman. Let's go back to it and talk about nothing about leading no revolution and helping no black folk. That's just mass exploitation. I don't care what you mask it in. I don't care what picture you take with this man with this glue on, look like my grandmama old couch. I remember that one. I don't care how young you paint yourself. I need you to get to it. I mean, you ain't gotta believe me. Look, hold on. Somebody in the chat, hold on. Look, that's him when he was like 38. This him when he like 53 or 54. Watch the difference. Hold up. You gotta take all that glucosamine so your bones is good. You tell me, look, who moved better? Look at this man moving. He 82, and then look. Come on, bruh. You gotta take glucosamine and all that. Get your bones right and your joints. Just telling you. I don't think we get it. I don't think everybody understands. 310-388-3499. It might just be one of them shows where you just listen. We don't know, Harriet. We don't know how old he is. They all the numbers they put out. Is he 50? Is he 48? Is he 62? Is he? We don't know. I just know that it's not young popular culture age. I know that. We go back to MTV Cribs. And the reason we got to come to MTV Cribs is because it was a mimic of lifestyles of the rich and famous. It was a mimic of what white people had accessed and done to push and prod not only at black people, but mostly at black people, in my view, but also to greater youth culture. So you tell youth culture about being rich, then you blame them for going out and buying like a car that's a Mercedes. How about you just don't show that to them? Or make it so you can't show that on TV. You understand that in France, in France, the place where they make the Ciroq, let's go back to Ciroq, make this point. The place where they make the Ciroq, come on, you can't advertise it. You can advertise it here because it's too dangerous when you add that to aspiration and you add that to this right here. Because people start feeling like they Popeye. You know how Popeye used to pop the spinach and then show you his muscle? That's the way they feel about the Ciroq. That's the whole look. He got it in the studio and it's in the picture, and I'm doing the little business, and this is my business juice, my Popeye. It's bigger than being billionaires. It's about owning our culture and leading the revolution while I sell liquor. Oh my God, man. Come on, let's get it. I don't even know what y'all talking about, bro. But MTV Cribs comes out of the lifestyles of the rich and famous. It is the pushing of aspiration. MTV Cribs was pretty much fake. And here are the receipts to prove it. Some of y'all already know. A lot of y'all don't know like how much of this was fake. But this is just a couple of things. Look, a big part of my childhood was spent watching MTV Cribs, the show in which stars gave us peasants, Peasants, yes, peasants, an exclusive look inside their fancy homes. And Ja Rule's house on Cribs was actually a 4-day rental. In fact, after he shot his episode, He allegedly threw a huge party there, and the real homeowner ended up suing him. Huh. And then there are the cars. 50 Cent showed off an extensive collection of luxury cars in his episode, which turned out to be rentals, and Little Bow Wow's fancy cars. Well, he tried to pass them off as his own, but it turns out that those were most likely rentals too. So they sold you on an access Black people had made into wealth that did not happen. Many in Black America have no idea that you anchored your idea of how race and wealth intersect on a faux idea of progress, a fake idea of progress. It likely requires you to entirely disconnect and deconstruct the decadent veil of an often low, come on, educated, nearing retirement age Black celebrity class, one that is now selling liquor, gambling, and Uber to survive. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, what's your name? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is North. How you doing?
What's up, North? Give me your take on this.
So yeah, you just brought up the that whole sham. So I kind of want to go back, kind of remind everybody, because somebody brought it up in the chat and kind of they said before I had a chance to say, not that I'm saying that great man probably doesn't have his things going on with him or whatever the case may be so far as negative deal is concerned. But from what I saw when I did see that episode, he was basically saying, "This is my house and you can't accept it. Too bad I'm not about to rent houses and all that other stuff." The next thing I want to fast forward to kind of remind everybody that these people are not really living the lives that you think they're living and that they're a big problem. If you look at Bow Wow, or what was the name? You see Lil Bow Wow, wasn't that jewelry state? And now this young man has some serious mental and emotional issues. These people don't even want to deal with the fact that the life that they were living was a part.
Come on.
So I'll just leave it right there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, North. North always comes with it, and thank you so much for adding that. The reality is that they went crazy because they were being used, to me, by white capital, to mask the inequality and the lack of access and the lack of reparations paid to Black folks. Many in Black America have no idea, again, that you anchored your idea of how race and wealth intersect on a faux idea of progress. Reading this again, it likely requires you to entirely disconnect and deconstruct the decadent veil, meaning the decadent veil that I have written on about Black celebrity covering up Black poverty of an often low-educated, sometimes high school dropout, nearing retirement age, 53 to 60-year-old Black celebrity class, one that is now selling liquor, gambling, and Uber to survive. But it goes back to the lifestyles of the rich and famous. It goes back to American television series that aired in syndication from 84 to 95. The show featured the extravagant lifestyles of wealthy entertainers, athletes, socialites, and magnates. Lifestyles was one of the first shows to feature the lives of the wealthy. Later shows such as VH1, The Fabulous Life of the Rich and Famous, I think they also said Cribs, continue this trend. The show was largely intended to be an insight into the opulent residences and glamorous lifestyles of those it profiled. However, many of the geographic areas it covered were ideal destinations for vacations, and in his on-camera appearances, Leach indirectly made references to resorts and tourist attractions. I need you to see this thing, man, because it ain't nothing but the same thing. Can we get to it? Can I explain it to you? It is a recreation of the same model to keep you away from politics while making you think that you're doing politics. And this ain't doing no politics, reading no XXL about the leader of the rap world that's a high school dropout that's so dope. That sell liquor. I'm sorry. I don't. Sold, SOLD, sold dope, sells liquor. I think that's right. But you can't understand it without understanding the wealth. So white people had 2 trillion if we go back in 80. They jumped to 24 trillion by 89. They're at 110 trillion by 2020 or so. Now they're at like $125 trillion. Obama, they collapsed under Obama. That's this dip right here. Obama buoyed them, held them up, gave them money. Let me glaze you up. Gave them quantitative easing. Fixed the airlines and the automobile that they had stocks in. Gave them money. They took off. Obama, Trump, Biden. That's what this is. But gave us next to nothing. And the little dips, that's all boomer money. You look at the 2022 Q3 data, no one in America is showing you this regularly, but me. And what it shows you is that black people don't have no wealth. All this little section is really not, that's really boomer money. So let me say millennial blacks have nearly nothing. So pensions is pretty much all boomers. And that's almost half of our wealth. And that's going to disappear with them. When they die, they pension die. And we're not really getting pensions under the age of 45 at these jobs. This real estate, I wouldn't doubt that 1.75 of that is in the hands of boomers. Oftentimes not even high school educated. I mean, not even college educated. My apologies. Sometimes not high school educated. I wouldn't doubt that 1.75 and another 0.75 is in the hands of millennial blacks tied to a boomer. Or Gen X blacks, let me say. Tied to a boomer. I wouldn't doubt that self-made black people that bought a real estate is like 0.25 of that. Do we understand that what happens over the next decade to 20 years is like almost all of these red boxes, this is going to disappear. And part of the reason that this real estate is going to disappear is because unlike white folks, far too often, boomers won't transfer the property into their kids' name. And so when they get old and sick, they're going to take the property to pay for their medical coverage. And they won't go straight to the government because they're not doing it right. So this is going to disappear. White people got 31 trillion in real estate, 14 trillion in pensions, 28 trillion in stocks. Oh, we don't have nearly no stocks. We in the billions. They got as much in consumer durables and clothes as we have overall. Nearly as much. They got 14 trillion. You need to stop talking about this private business. We don't even have no private business. They have all the private business nearly. You can look at it right there. You can pull it up later. This is just what it is. They got 15 trillion in private business nearly. We have a few billion. Y'all just be talking about bracelets like that's a business or fitness. And no, that's a contract work for you to survive. Uber, that's for you to get to a real job. That ain't a real job. And we go back to what got us here in the 80s. Before the wealth data, see, Thomas Shapiro, who wrote Black Wealth, White Wealth, was on my show, and we talked about it. They didn't give us the wealth data until like the 90s. And even then, people didn't cover it this way that I am. So none of y'all knew. So black people thought they was the same as white people. And in part, they kind of were closer because white people hadn't taken off. So if white people got 2 trillion in 80, in 85, when the Cosby Show comes on the air, white people probably got like 5 trillion. So 1 or 0 or near there is a lot closer to 4 or 5 trillion, even though it's not close, than 5 or 3 trillion is to 130 trillion. Just in terms of access. So the new black middle class, this issue comes out in 87, who's in and who's not, the price and purse of success, and made all the black people go to college. But at the same time, you had the rise of hip hop. And at the same time, you had the Cosby Show on the air, but they never told you about how the Cosby Show wasn't a middle-class black family. It was some kind of ultra-rich black family. They just called it middle class, the black middle. It wasn't middle class. You know that because of the house. Let's talk about it. Cosby Show Dreams, African-American Financial Realities. I did this article back in 2015. It's now 2023. Yet despite this positive impact on the exceptional black individual's acceptance into the white American psyche, I'm talking about the Cosby Show, it may have done the opposite for black America's ability to relate to the average black family's struggles that resulted from a legacy of Jim Crow and slavery. For a generation of white Americans that had little contact with black Americans in daily life, this is the same thing that Jay-Z, the same thing that Diddy do, the apathy, Thursday nights with the Huxtables created toward the experience of black struggle has been understated. The idea that if Cliff Huxtable did it, you can too, it became too loud for every other black person to even fight back against. But nobody told people that in 84, A Brooklyn Heights brownstone, the one that they moved into from the other house. Y'all remember the episode, the first season was in another house, and then they was in the brownstone. They jumped up, but you would have to buy a $700,000 house. A strong black family was buying a $180,000 house back then. They bought a $700,000 house, but back then you had to put 20% down. I need you to understand what you're saying because you don't know what you don't know. So that $700,000 house or brownstone would be worth $5 to $7 million. So they bought a brownstone on 2 salaries, a lawyer and a doctor, and had 5 kids, and one was at Princeton. But you got to understand this. Given this context, in the early 80s, normal home loans were given at a rate of about 15%. So 15% interest. Now we paying like 7 and 8, 15% interest. And they didn't do 30 years. No, they was doing shorter terms. But even if we accept 30 years, a loan of this type would have been likely considerably higher. In addition, a prospective buyer would have to come with anywhere from 10 to 20% or more of the home value as down payment. So $700,000, they would have to put down $100,000, but not in today's money, $100,000 in 80s money. What is that equivalent to? What, $400,000, $500,000? To that? Come on. And they put these people on TV as middle class, and you wonder why you don't understand wealth. And they would have to pay a mortgage of $8,000 in 80s money. Most people don't understand that even when we look back, look at this. This real estate. So look at the black categories. This is consumer. The big categories are real estate and pension. This is all boomers down there and older Gen X, but mostly boomers. Nearly no millennials have a pension. But then real estate is probably nearly all boomers too, at least half, if not more. But the thing that you look at to prove that is like, look, black homeownership rate by race. All of a sudden, when you get down here, we just dip down. This is when we had a little bit more. Like, come on, man. Working age black people are largely wealthless. They don't have no retirement. You worried about your grandmama pension and you ain't got a retirement to lick in. Do you not know that your daddy that just got fresh out don't even have Social Security? Oh, nobody explained that to you. He don't have Social Security. He was in jail 25 years and he don't have Social Security. The retirement crisis facing black Americans. African Americans face income and wealth inequities and low savings rate. But the reason we don't even think about that is because as long as these people are good, we good. Immaturity at its best. Pure freaking ignorance. And we don't know the difference that this is the same thing. This is the same thing. Hold on. Let's get it right. This is the same thing, bro. 2 old people dancing some old dances. This is the same thing, bro. I'm getting to it. I'm talking about it. I want you to understand we dealing with this lifestyles of the rich and famous with no retirement. But we know the numbers. I mean, I'm just going to go through 2 of them. We used it before just to give a baseline. You can look around at your friends and family. Not like y'all be just like giggling. You know, the ones that be asking you, can I borrow $100 the next week? That's them. This is everybody you know. Miami, Color of Wealth Report. They broke down the ADOS people, or near ADOS, let me say, to show the difference. And it showed that the native black family in the middle native black family in Miami had $11 liquid. Caribbeans coming from Haiti. And I'm not at all denigrating Haiti, but I think it's the poorest country in the hemisphere. They know from 2,000 liquid. You know how to wealth, like you didn't build no wealth and you were just here in this wealthy country and you don't even understand the consequence. And your kid, you say they going to Princeton or something. They going to Harvard. Look at this. This is the Los Angeles Color of Wealth Report. I say the numbers sometimes, but you can look at the report. The median value, this is the Los Angeles Color of Wealth Report where they broke out U.S. black versus African. The median value of the U.S. black household was $200 in Los Angeles. Liquid. That's the liquid wealth. So look, liquid, they had $200. African black family from Nigeria, from Eritrea, wherever they came from, the average in the city was $60,000. Whites had 110 liquid. That's stocks. That's easy access. The 8 Chinese had 130 liquid. That's not counting their homes and their retirements and their pensions. The Asian Indian, like Kamala, had $245,000 liquid. $80,000 Filipino. Come on. $200. Celebrity paid promos, and this is why crypto took off, because you don't have nothing. So you don't have nothing, you want to gamble, but you want to look like you're a business person. You don't want to look like a gambler. So you're doing better than lottery, but you're going to do this, and you don't understand while doing this that they got a whole system to get you with the celebrities again. Celebrity paid promos were part of the success of the broader crypto industry too, as revealed in the fallout from the collapse of FTX in November. In March, the Securities and Exchange Commission charged 8 celebrities for not disclosing they were paid to promote cryptocurrencies. Further, Snoop, along with several other celebrities and crypto firms, are facing a class action lawsuit filed in December that alleged he was part of a scheme to artificially inflate the price of Bored Ape. So they send out a tweet. This goes back to the blue check, back to the elevation, and then you go buy the crypto because you think you're going to be first, not be last, and you last once it's coming through a tweet. Can I talk about it? Yeah, then you listening to somebody who just got through wrestling. Snoop Dogg lands people's elbow. Can we talk? On The Miz while hosting the WWE. You listening to somebody who wrestling. You listening to these two people with the Meghan Markle picture behind them mimicking their video where they were about a Mona Lisa. So she the left. What is this? For the BET award. This lady, to my knowledge, didn't even consider herself black in the same way until, oh, it's just weird, bro. And it's an echo chamber. So the echo chamber is they have, watch this echo chamber. So they did this with the Mona Lisa. So then you put her there and it elevates her like she the Mona Lisa. This lady who was a little actress lady who was raised by her white daddy and not anchored in black people. You go back to her sorority, all the white girls in the sorority. Nothing wrong with white people, but where's the black people in your life other than your mama? So then they put her there to accept their BET award. Then they mimic them, meaning Russell Wilson and Ciara, and they put the Obamas behind them, and they put it on. It's a big echo chamber, bro. All of it is nonsense. I say again, what's the difference between Smokey Robinson doing his hip thrust and Diddy and his Ciroq, or Brandy and her Cinderella 1997, or Candy Burris and her reality show, this SWV woman? When y'all gonna realize that this was 24 and 25 years ago? Somebody put this tweet up. They said Martin Lawrence needed an Oscar for the cinematic masterpiece called Blue Streak. Look, all of us like a little laugh, but this film was 25 years ago, bro, and it was just like an hour and a half thrown together comedy. You don't know what good is if you thought this was an Oscar level movie. I don't even understand why you watching it like now. It's old, bro. Do you remember 99? In 99, you couldn't show nobody Dolomite. It was too old. Like Dolomite in 99, Dolomite was just like Blue Streak is today as far as time. You got SWV, Jodeci, and Drew Hill talking about a North American concert. Are we aware of what year it is? Because it feels like we in a time machine. Can I talk about it? So let me say it again. You got Jodeci, who was singing when I was in middle school. You got Drew Hill, albums in 98, 96, and then the last one I think was 02. They gonna do a North American tour for this pop music. That's what I call it. In 2023. Do you remember what pop, like little bands like this? They didn't. Oh my God, you guys don't understand. This is weird, bro. And then you look online and they don't have these tickets up, but the tickets be like $130, sometimes even $300. This is Mary J, Jodeci, Jeezy, $130. Plus the fees and everything else. Y'all done went crazy. I want to talk about it, but like, I don't know. Some of y'all understand this. You pay $130, then right around showtime, they ain't got nobody in there. So they They're going to drop it down to 67, put it on that Groupon. 20% off, it's $40. They're not giving you no refund. Can we talk? Valentine's R&B bash. So that one gonna be $170 on Ticketmaster, but you can get the special on Valentine's with Cisco with Drew Hill. Or now he is Cisco separate, and then John B and Jagged Edge and Genuine. You gotta get Cisco like the cheese on the burger. Make sure you ask. Look, from this, it tells me right here. Make sure you ask if Cisco gonna be there. Don't presume it. But then, like, you get in there, New Edition to bring Legacy Tour with Key Sweat to Guy and Tank, and you get in there, and it be like that in there. They done got a venue like it's 1998, 2000. Look, New Edition. Y'all need to just sell out this part down here. Sell this part out and charge $35 for them tickets and let these old people have a good time. Can we talk about it? Stop laughing. Stop laughing at New Edition. It's a lot going on. Tell me what's the difference in the chat. What is the difference between this and this? It's the same now, bro. This is classic old, like when you was in 2000, that was like your daddy going to see the E-Bells or the Temps. It's that. Look, Don't let nobody charge you more than $37 to see this. Because you're not going to see this. You're going to see an old person doing this. Low. Can we talk? Jodeci announced a summer block party with SWV and Drew Hill. If you don't get down to the E-Bell or the Apollo and put your name in lights and make it about, 900 seats, $40 cash, we will accept that EBT because we know we want to have everybody get a chance to get in here. JP Morgan Chase presents the OJs. Just put your little name up there. We got to see North American tour. That's for like Michael Jackson. This is nonsense, bro. That's like back when the Michael Jackson or like, Whitney Houston was performing. It was the peak of music and CDs. Get out of here with that, man. And put your name in lights and be happy. Jamal, they got something else left. Some of these people got to realize you got to go work at Macy's. You got to be like Jaheim. You remember Jaheim was driving Uber around this piece. You got to go get a job. You can't exploit other people and sell tickets for $170 the night before, throw them on Groupon for $63, and then you done, come on, man. Yo, somebody said they grandmama loved New Edition. Right. It was 40 years ago. I'm talking to you. You got Jim Jones. This is a new article. Jim Jones reveals Jay-Z's reaction to seeing 20 Blood gang members in his studio. He's literally talking about something from 25 years ago. Not 10, not 15, not even 20. He's talking about something from 25 years ago, bro. Just to be in the news. Jim Jones and Dipset tenure on Rockefeller Records was successful, tenuous due to Cameron's rivalry with Jay-Z, resulting in the group's departure from the label after only one album. During a recent interview with Chuck Creamer of All Hip Hop, Jones recalled instances in which we would bring dozens of Blood gang members into Baseline Studios. Where what the? In 2000, wasn't nobody trying to hear how Otis didn't want David Ruffins in the studio on the cover of The Source. Just was the Source magazine covering David Ruffins in 2000? It's the same thing, I'm telling you, bro. Was the Source in the chat? Was the Source magazine, to your recollection, covering David Ruffins or Smokey Robinson? Then why is Jim Jones on the news for something 25 years ago? because you don't want to get old. You don't want to accept that your moment is gone. You don't want to accept it's not your time. They put this in the news yesterday. Bro, you thinking this is still cool? It's the same as this, bro. It's the same. This is the same thing. Little head bob. This is the same thing, bro. You stuck in a time machine. Look, dye it all up, dye it and cut it down, and we know it's dyed again because of this. I'm just being honest so we can be clear that I'm not saying it can't be that way. This like the old, Mustafa when he got on Lion King. You can't get it black just because you want it black that day. It don't grow that way. Or you shave it down and say, I'm gonna just dream it black. You dyeing it deep black. So we know that now. So when we look at these videos, we gotta be honest about how it got there. Now I ain't saying that he got it there, it ain't patched on, it ain't sprayed on or nothing, but the black ain't true. Can I talk about it? So when we look at this, how is this different than this? Smokey Robinson's album title Gasms and his colorful track list. Not what did we how we knew Smokey wasn't cool, but Diddy he the one. But we need the aspiration, and as a result, we'll do anything for it. Last caller of the night. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Tom, this is AJ from North Carolina.
What up, AJ? You the last caller of the night. Let it all out.
I think you have made it crystal clear how over the decadent veil is and what the decadent veil's purpose was. And I think anybody listening to the show, they have to see it.
I agree.
They have to. I'm 36 years old myself, and came up a kid in the 90s, watched the MTV Cribs, and until yourself, Yvette, came with the data, that veil was reinforced in myself and how I tried to live my life, and gave my parents a validation to say, oh, we made it. And I think a lot of us now, through you, are realizing how damaging that was to our perceptions and how we went about life.
Can I ask you one more question? Can I ask you one question?
Because the politics is not there.
What do you think about these people being billionaires off of alcohol, gambling, Uber? What do you think about that? How does that make you feel as a working age man that looks around and your friends are doing this exploitive stuff now?
I think it's absolutely disgraceful that in the age of the technical advancements of society right now, that within our community, our stars, our best and brightest, our billionaires are selling poison to our community. I mean, they're not engineers, they're not lawyers, they're not politics, they're alcohol sales. It's just a shame, and it needs to change. And the change happens through understanding the data and the veil that was placed before us with these people. And it's got to stop because it's not changing our real life.
And it's weird because what's the difference between these two people, man? It's on your screen. I don't see no difference between Diddy dancing and Smokey Robinson doing this mic thing with this weird outfit. Both of them look kind of weird to me, but I don't see no difference.
There really is, and I think in drawing that analogy, that really is what it is. When I see, on social media, these videos of these concerts and these Smokey Robinsons and everything genuine, I'm thinking to myself, why are you still dancing? Why? Like there was there wasn't enough success anywhere that you could retire. I mean, I'm 36 and I don't want to work. Why I would not want to be on a concert stage dancing any longer.
Man,
it makes no sense, and it's honestly because they have to keep this veil up by any means necessary. And I think y'all have drawn the Y into the tell combat short then, and just kind of this whole placing.
Yeah, because you got to understand they're not selling alcohol. They're not selling alcohol. They're not selling gambling. They're not selling Uber. They are selling their pop cultural ties to be able to sell those exploitive products to who? The black community and the youth culture at large. But larger and larger, it's not the youth culture they can sell it to. So they got to sell it to just black folks, and that's their product. Selling this nonsense to black folks. Caller, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for calling. Look, I'm just coming to you having a discussion about these older black celebrities and asking a question. Why are they still here? What expertise are they offering? Do you understand the consequence of them being here? What they did to your politics from Trump to Obama? What they do to your children and yourself selling liquor, rent to own, Uber, gambling? This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.net, subscribe, donate, share. Thank you so much for tuning in.